Welcome to Awards Spotlight, where we shine a light on distinguished members of the UCLA Anderson alumni community, specifically the recipients for the school's alumni awards. My name is Nuvie Ewharekuko, and I am an MBA candidate from the class of 2022. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce the recipient of the 2020 John E. Anderson Distinguished Alumni Award, Stewart W. Bainum Jr., class of 1970. A proven leader in business, government, and philanthropy, Stewart Bainum has served for 23 years as the chairman of the board of Choice Hotels International, one of the largest and most successful lodging franchisors in the world. Over the course of his career, he has been the chief executive of 4 publicly listed companies: Choice Hotels, HCR Manor Care, which operates nursing and assisted living facilities, Vitalink Pharmacy Services, and Sunburst Hospitality. Mr. Bainum founded Summerford Place Corporation in 1998 and Artis Senior Living in 2012, both serving as memory care assisted living companies. He is currently manager of Artis Senior Living. In addition to his business career, Mr. Bainum has also been a civic leader and elected public official in both the Maryland General Assembly and the Maryland Senate, serving on the budget and/or tax committees of each. Described by Forbes as a fiscal-minded Democrat, Mr. Bainum's legislative achievements earned him recognition from the NAACP, Maryland Common Cause, and the Maryland League of Conservation Voters. Mr. Bainum serves on the Board of Trustees of Johns Hopkins University, the University of Maryland Medical System, St. Mary's College, the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, and Bowdoin College. In 2019, he was honored with the America's Lodging Investment Summit Lifetime Achievement Award and is currently a member of the Board of Visitors of UCLA Anderson's School of Management. Welcome to the Spotlight, Stewart.
Thank you, Nuvie.
Stewart, you have had an impressive career, and I want to kind of talk about the hospitality space. So Choice Hotels is the family business. So why did you decide to pursue an MBA when you were guaranteed a place at that table?
Well, actually, I really never envisioned joining the family business growing up at all, including through college. And much to my dad's chagrin, I was a history major and actually considered going to graduate school in history. But my junior year, I was elected student body president of my small college. And I spent like 40 hours a week in student government that year. And I kind of liked being in charge and being the boss. And so I decided, maybe there's something here. Maybe I should try to apply to business school. And so I went to Anderson, and without the intent of joining the family business. I went to Anderson right after college. I was one of the younger students. And then I taught for a year at a 4-year college, after which I attended divinity school for about a year and a half or so. So it was only about 4 or 5 years after college that I joined the family business.
That's wonderful. And it's interesting to know that that was not the original plan, and you kind of stumbled into it after going to business school and serving your undergrad community through student government, walking in your shoes, doing the same thing. What's interesting has been the conversation around leading in these types of times and leading in a pandemic. And what I would love to know is, like, what is the effect, or what has been the effect of COVID-19 on your enterprises?
Yeah, I mean, Choice Hotels, we're a franchisor. We don't own hotels. We have 10, 20-year contracts with 7,000 hotels with about a dozen different brands. And these are owned by local business people. These are small businesses. The average Comfort Inn has 25 employees. These are entrepreneurs. And during this last year, during the pandemic, a lot of their life's work and their net worth was in jeopardy. Some still are in a tough situation. But our job during the pandemic has been to assist them every which way and to communicate with them and help them borrow money, for example, from the Small Business Administration, help them negotiate with their mortgage lenders, and help them in various ways. And now they have kind of a high class problem. They have, as the economy is coming back pretty damn strong in most of the markets in which we operate in the U.S., their challenge is hiring enough employees back because they had to let so many go to stay afloat. But their challenge is to hire enough employees back to service the flood of guests that are now showing up and traveling. And then we have a memory care business, an assisted living memory care business that has about, 800 residents and about 1,400 employees or so. And these are elderly customers. The average age is 84. They have dementia, typically Alzheimer's. And folks afflicted with Alzheimer's, as you might know, are very active and don't understand that they need to socially distance. So it was a hell of a challenge to navigate through all that. And then to make matters worse, they haven't been, with their families. Their families weren't able to visit them. And then the other, our employees, our associates, our caregivers serving those residents, often single mothers with kids at home, we had to help them get through the pandemic as well. Happily, we're long-term investors. We think in terms of decades, not quarterly earnings. And so our first priority is really, and everybody says this is really true in our case, and it is in many cases, I'm sure, is taking care of our residents and our people serving them.
It sounds like, Stewart, from your experiences, you've really tried to focus on care and support and making sure that the people under your purview are taken care of to the best of your ability, which I think is an amazing thing. You've had a ton of philanthropic activity in your past. So I would just love to know from you, why be philanthropic? And can you share a bit more about the philanthropic ventures that you've pursued or are currently pursuing?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some success, but we've had an awful lot of luck. And I've had an awful lot of luck. I was born a male. I was born white. I was born in the United States of America into a solid family with good values. And I often tell the rest of our family, what if the Bainums had been born in Bangladesh or South LA? How accomplished would we be if that were the case? So it's important to try and share some of the blessings we've had from all that luck that flowed from all that luck with those that with less luck. And right now I'm focused on I've been trying to find a philanthropic endeavor that leverages my experience at Anderson and since, and leverages all the lessons I've learned from all the mistakes I've made over the years in business. And I'm doing that by trying to find a sustainable business model for robust local news. And local news, as you probably know, has been shrinking in the past 2 decades. These local newspapers are a shadow of what they used to be. And communities need objective local news to hold their elected officials accountable, to spotlight injustice, to tell the community's important stories. And those stories bind the community often together to shape the issues of the day. And so I've wanted to buy, and I'm trying to buy now and revive the Baltimore Sun, which is the main paper in the state of Maryland, my home state. I'm right in the midst of a kind of a battle for control of a company that owns the Baltimore Sun, as well as other 8 newspapers, including the Chicago Tribune and others. So I could talk for a while about this, but I know we've got a limit. I think, Nuvie, you have a date after this, so I got to restrict my comments a bit.
Thank you, Stewart. I appreciate you sharing about your passion for making sure you use some of the fortunate circumstances that you were born into to give back to the world and make it a better place. When you think about your most important takeaways from business school, when you were 22, 24, what were they? What would you say was your most important takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, all the courses were great, and not all of them, but most of them. I think the relationships I developed during those 2 years. We were a subset. I was in the Unified MBA program, it was called back then, with 35 students. We had all but 2 classes together in the same room over the 2 years. So we got to know each other really well, and we became unusually close. I have a picture of the class on my wall right here, and had a reunion for the class a couple of years ago here at the house. So, and we became friends, and they helped me learn about myself. And I think that's the greatest value that I remember the most. It was most significant to me during those 2 years.
Yeah, I know one of my big reasons for coming to business school was for the relationships. It's for that relationship building and getting to know future people who are trying to make a difference in whatever way they see fit. So I'm happy to know you got that from your experience. When you think about your pre-business school self, what advice would you give young Stewart and current students like myself in business school?
Well, when I think about, anyone who goes to business school is probably interested in being a leader, and I think self-awareness is maybe the most critical attribute that a leader could have. So bend over backwards to focus on knowing yourself means welcoming feedback in a defenseless way to help you do that, and focus on your most important relationships and being close. I mean, the most effective leaders seem to have this introspective bent and plenty of soft skills.
Thanks, Stewart. Okay, so self-reflection, self-awareness, introspection. Okay, all stuff I'm keeping in mind. Well, Stewart, thank you so much for your time today, and huge congratulations on your award and your achievements. And I'm just excited to follow you along this journey, and I'm super proud that you're an alum. Thank you so much.
Well, Nuvie, I'm going to follow you too. So count on that.
We'll follow each other. Thank you, Stewart.
You bet.